double super jackpot!
I need a ramp. I need a loop. I want targets I can hit. I need the scoop. I need a double super jackpot in my life. That's right.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Bro Do You Even Talk Pinball. It is Monday, August 29th, and this is our 7th episode.
Episode 7.
You are, what's your name?
Kevin Manny. And what's your name?
Nick Lane.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, it's been a while because the last one we did was right before Pinburgh, so we've got a lot of catching up to do.
We do, yeah. Well, I mean, we started out doing these once a month, and we're kind of back on that schedule, but over the summer, we picked it up a notch. Even though we were, supposed to slow it down over the summer. We really didn't.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually in pinball mode because the summer feels like it's over because the college students have returned, and Kevin and I both work at a university, so and at least for me, it feels like it's over with. I'm like, turn my mind to like pinball, like, okay, I gotta get more games. I wanted to even stream more, like all of that. Like it's getting dark at like a little after 8, so it's pinball season in my book.
Happy pinball season, everybody.
So in this episode, we're going to give a game room update because who doesn't want to hear about what we bought?
What's
right?
happening with us?
Probably a lot of people. We've got a new announcement from Stern, sort of. They didn't actually announce it.
It was
but
nice of
we're
that to
gonna
get
talk
leaked
about
right
it.
before we
Yeah.
started broadcasting here tonight.
We're going to talk about Pinburgh because, I mean, heck, it's a month later, but how could you not talk about Pinburgh?
Got to.
And then the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, we'll give a recap of that, followed by our trip out to Domino's, and then we will talk about, or actually review, the number 1 rated game on Pinside. We got to review this, right? We got to talk about it. Medieval Madness.
Got to, especially since it's being re-released and rerun. You can still buy it. So there's a lot of reason to talk about it.
Yeah. So let's start off by thanking our partners who help make this podcast and our stream possible. Starting off with Comet Pinball. They are there for your LED needs. Great selection, great customer service. They have basically every sort of LED combination color. You name it. They have LEDs that will fit in spaces that you didn't think were possible. Check them out. Our friend Meso Mods, who make beautiful pinball mods for your pinball machine, especially if you have like a Stern Pro that comes bare bones. Meso Mods makes some great modifications for Stern games and other games as well. They actually have a code, which is Buffalo. If you type that in, you get 10% off. Our partner, Jersey Jack Pinball, who we're going to be going out to their open house on September 17th. We're going to be streaming. We're actually going to be running and streaming their tournament. That's going to be fun. That's going to be on a Hobbit and Wizard of Oz. Pinball Arcade, who we stream once a month when they release their digital version. And we also do giveaways. If you guys watch our stream, you have a chance to get one of their tables. Titan Pinball, maker of, they have a lot of products, but they're probably mostly known for their silicone rings for pinball. They're the rings that Kevin and I use for our games when we play. They're awesome because they have more durability than regular rubber, but they have pretty much the feel of regular rubber. So we're huge fans of those. You can save 10% off their order by using the code Buffalo. And then finally, Tilt Cycle. That's Dan Burfield out in Pittsburgh. He's an artist who makes art out of upcycled pinball parts, playfields. I have a really cool playfield hanging up in my game room. It's a Genie playfield that Dan put lights in. I get compliments from every single person that checks it out. And he's got a code, which is BRO2016. And also Dan has a special running now before you can get on this before Halloween. He'll give $50 off any custom order of $150 or more. So to do a custom order, check out his website, tiltcycle.com, and then reach out to Dan. And if you have some ideas of what you want to see in your game room and you have a vision for something, Dan is happy to work with you and put something together.
Dan is awesome. Thank you to all of our partners. You
All right.
guys are the best.
Absolutely. Kev, why don't you kick us off by starting off with a game room update?
All right. So there hasn't been, we've been doing so much like outside the game room that I haven't had much time in my game room. My big accomplishment is it doesn't look like a total disaster anymore because I came home from the tournament and then I just dumped all the streaming gear. And then I came home from Domino's and I just dumped it all again. So it's been like getting it back in order, getting it in shape. I did get a new solenoid for Vector back there that I thought was going to fix the problem I was having with the one kick out hole. Didn't solve the problem, so that's going to be going for a visit to the doctor's office at Bruce's house. He's going to hopefully get that back up and running. If I can get over there, maybe before league night here later this month, but probably after that. Well, thankfully, we got enough other games to go around for that.
Are we going to set up a stream during your league night like we usually do?
May as well,
Put
right?
it on? Sure.
Yeah.
Why
You guys
not?
want to see some league? Let's do it. We'll have to throw it out there what game we throw it, what we put the camera rig on, but that'll be fun. I can give you an update on Ghostbusters. I know a lot of people have been talking Ghostbusters and inserts ghosting and playfield clear chipping. I am knocking on this World Cup soccer right now because my game has been looking and playing great. The playfield looks great. I don't have any chipping except for the out hole, which has been pretty typical for all of Stearns.
Yeah.
But the inserts look great. Still playing great. I've played it a bunch, so it's not for a lack of playing it. And one other update I want to give, shout out to Michael Saxton. He sent me a terror dog that he 3D prints these and then he paints it by hand.
Oh, that's cool.
You can get them from him. I think they're $15. And they're designed to go right over the terror dog target on the game because it's kind of hard to see where that terror dog target is. So I'm gonna put it on the game. I haven't had a chance to put it on there.
Damn, that's pretty good. The fact that he 3D printed this and then painted it himself.
Yeah, all for $15.
I'm impressed. Nicely done.
Yeah, so hit him up on Pinside. His Meph MEPH on Pinside. You can grab one of those from him, and we'll show that off on stream once we get it installed. So that's pretty much it for my game room updates. Not much coming in and going out because we've been doing so much stream stuff.
Yeah, so I'm finally in the mindset of thinking pinball and thinking about my collection. Like I said, it kind of shuts off during the summertime. I don't play that much pinball, believe it or not, at least compared to the winter or the fall. So I don't have the money for like a brand new Stern or anything like that. So that means, well, maybe rotating some games. And I decided to put Countdown and Jungle Lord up on the chopping block. And mostly for a trade because I want an early Bally solid state or an early Stern solid state.
Pinball Howard, thanks for the follow.
Thanks for the follow, Howard. All right. So I want one of those. And all my games that I have, like the early solid state games, they have no spinners. I mean, come on. You got to have a spinner on those games.
Gotta have a spinner.
That's the fun, man. So those were like up for trade because ideally I would like a Flash Gordon or a Harlem Globetrotters, but I'm open to other things. So I'm just saying this because if somebody has a game that fits that criteria and you're not too far from Buffalo, reach out to me. Maybe we can work something out. However,
how should they contact you?
They can contact me through buffalopinball@gmail.com.
There you go.
So like I said, I mean, if you're like in Texas, thanks, but no thanks. But if you're within like striking 2-3 hour distance, I might be game.
Or maybe if you're going out to the Jersey Jack Game Room show, they can bring it there.
Well, we won't have room for a game, Kev.
Oh, that's right.
So,
we can throw it on the roof.
Yeah, that was a good idea though. I appreciate that.
Almost. Never mind.
But you know what? I did sell Countdown. That's gone. After a couple drinks, Martha said she'll buy it without any pressure. I was just like, yeah, this game's getting sold. And she's like, no, I like it. You can't sell it. Like,
there you go.
You can buy it. And cuts the check right there.
That's the best sale because you don't have to move it.
Hey, I don't have to move it. And, Countdown's a great game, but I've had it for 4 years, and I want something new. I mean, what's the point of having a game if you're not playing it? It's just an expensive nightlight. So, it gets to stay in my collection. I still have room to add more games, so that's not a big deal. It's not wasting space or anything like that. And so Jungle Lord's still up for grabs. That's in the cabinet's in like beautiful shape. It was in this guy's house forever. It looks like brand new. The lower playfields is good. The upper playfield's got some wear on it. It's not perfect. It's kind of like planking a bit. But the back glass is new. So if anybody's interested, the nice thing about this podcast is I get to really broadcast that I've got a game for sale and I'm looking for something. So
we have a platform. Let's use it.
Not? Yeah, and I want to give some game room updates rather than saying nothing or my game's broken. There we go.
You also gave Iron Man a bath.
I did. So, one of the things that as Kevin and I started kind of putting ourselves out there in the pinball world is we started a blog, or at least I really kickstarted a blog about 2 years ago. And the idea was to make pinball accessible to beginning players. Like one of the first blog posts was, how do I start a game of pinball kind of deal or terminology. Anyways, That kind of went dormant because I don't have time to write. I'd rather stream and do other things. So one of the things that I wanted to do though is do some teaching, and we did I did a video of how to clean a playfield because I'm really OCD and I'm obsessive about like how to clean properly. When I got into pinball, that was something I researched to death because I wanted to take care of it. So you can watch a video of me cleaning my Iron Man. Not that it was terribly dirty at all. I mean, the thing looks clean. You can't really see it before and after, but I go in detail. It's like a little over an hour. All the steps that you need to take. If you just want the crib notes version, the first 10 minutes of that video on YouTube will tell you what you need to know. So just check it out on our YouTube channel. Just search Buffalo Pinball and you can find out at least my approach to cleaning a pinball machine. And I got to say, Iron Man's my oldest game. I've had it for 5.5 years, and it looks as good as the day I got it. And that's because I've really taken excellent care of it.
Yeah, Nick's the guy I'd want to show me how to clean a playfield, because if you saw how I clean my playfields, you'd probably have a heart attack. So Nick does it right. I do it quickly and easily.
What were you doing? What were you doing that I got in your case for?
I think it was like
you don't wax.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I don't wax it enough. Or
you didn't wax ever. I was like,
yeah.
What do you do in this game? You're just like, I just wipe it down with Novus.
It's fine.
Yeah, put some wax. Put some wax on it.
Every once in a while I will. I won't do it as frequently
yourself.
as you do it, but I will.
Yeah.
So me and Sutter had a question. He wanted to know if we knew it, if we talked about repair stuff on the stream, and if we do, then he's got some questions about lifting Mylar and playfield artwork coming off with the Mylar. We don't really have expertise in that. I can't speak for Nick, but I definitely don't. I always just leave the Mylar there. He said it was coming up when he got it, so I'm guessing you're gonna have to just like take the Mylar off and repaint the areas that are not working, or that the artwork is coming off. So I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta what? I shouldn't give advice on this, so take this with a grain of salt. Maybe somebody in the chat can help you out.
Dragon Layer's here, Bruce.
Or if somebody wants to write in at what is it? What is our
talkpinball@gmail.com?
Talkpinball@gmail.com for your questions, or we can give advice on me, etc.'s question. We'll read it for the next show. How does that sound?
Give us some feedback and we'll share it. I'm sure he's not the only one with that question.
All right. That's it for my update.
That's updates.
I'm on the hunt. And moving on to there's a leak today.
Yeah.
This is perfect. We were gonna do a podcast today, and once in a while the stars align that we have an announcement to make based on some big news in the pinball world.
So I think what we learned is we need to wait until the Pinball podcast records, because they recorded last night. Then the announcements come out, and then we record. So that's how we need to play it from now on. But the announcement is Batman 66. So this was leaked on Pinside. The user GAP, I think that stands for Great American Pinball. They're out of Chicago area. They're a distributor of Stern pinball machines. They posted this as actually, I have the post here. It says, new info on Batman 66 PM if you would like to get on the list for a premium and meet Adam West, who's the original Batman from the old school 1960s Batman TV show at the Pinball Expo. And then he gives a plug for some of the games he has in stock. So let's just so I saw this, I was like, okay, I had kind of seen the rumors before about Batman 66, and is it going to be based on the TV show, or is it going to be based on, there's a new comic, I guess, that is Batman 66. So this is from Wikipedia. So Batman 66 is a comic book series published by DC featuring Batman. It's a continuation of the 1966 to 68 television series starring Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin. The series is written by Jeff Parker with cover art provided by Mike Allard and interior artwork by different artists each issue. So it's a comic book version of the show from the 60s. So I'm guessing based on the artwork on the flyer, it's going to be comic art based on the original classic TV series. We can't confirm that. It doesn't say for sure on the flyer, but just reading some of the copy on the flyer, it had me scratching my head, though. So at the top, it says, Stern Pinball celebrates its 30th anniversary with Batman 66 pinball game. The features. All-star development team consists of George Gomez and Lyman Sheets in collaboration with Joe Kamikow, and contributions from Eugene Jarvis and others. So,
okay.
That's
Fine.
good. We like that.
We're off to a good start.
Big names. Okay.
But by the way, who created this flyer? Do you know?
I guess Stern did.
It doesn't look like a normal Stern flyer. It's got their logo and everything. Okay, anyways.
I
mean, I guess they would have to because they got the information. So
yeah. It's all new game design from retaining the popular crane toy from the 2008 George Gomez and sheets Batman: The Dark Knight. So it's a new game design, but it has the crane from the Dark Knight game.
All right, I'm okay with that. I mean,
Okay.
all right. So it's a new layout, is what I would gather from that, and they got the crane.
Yeah, they're like, well, we have this crane. Let's throw this in
We
there.
made this crane up that wasn't even in the movie, which it's a cool toy. It wasn't in
Yeah.
any of the Batman movies.
Yeah.
How they get that through licensing, by
I
the way?
have no
Like they're
idea.
so strict that, licensing, we can't have cool art, but we
Right.
can put a crane in here.
Let's throw a crane in there. Batman would have a crane.
I played the game before I saw the movies, and then I'm like, when's the crane scene gonna
This must
happen?
be a central part of the movie, but no, it's not.
Who cares? It's a cool. They just like had a cool idea for a toy, so they're like, "Damn it, it's going in this game."
Right? So new interactive toys is the third bullet. So are we going to see like the Dark Knight has the Joker on it that spins around? Is that just going to be
Joker in
like
a can, yo.
a cartoon Joker now instead of like the likeness of the Joker from the movie? Who knows? Here's the big selling point: 2 LCD displays. Wait,
Well,
before we continue,
yo, you got one LCD display?
yeah, we got two.
Bitches? We got two.
LCD display is redundant. That drives me nuts. It's liquid crystal display. You don't need to say display, but that's a pet peeve.
Okay, all right, easy, Kevin. All right,
It gets me
That's-
fired up.
nerd.
We're
nerding
nerds.
out right now.
So one LCD is replacing the dot matrix in the back box,
Cool.
and
Finally.
an additional interactive LCD on the playfield. So
That's interesting.
what makes it interactive? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, so it's not like. That's a good question. So they have WWE LE has an LCD on the playfield, sort of, right? I mean, it's in the game, but it's not interactive.
Right.
Well, if you pick a wrestler, they'll show his video.
Right. And is it interactive because I hit a target in the game and
Maybe.
then that makes it do something?
Maybe.
Or
Maybe
is it
it's
going to
just-
be like a cool rollover thing like the multimorphic system where the ball rolling over the playfield will actually interact with the screen in some way? Who knows?
I
I'm
don't
guessing-
think that.
I
No, that's not.
That would actually be an interactive LCD.
Yeah, that's not.
But I'm guessing that's not what's
You're
going to
coming
happen.
down hard on them. All right, that's fine.
All right. Voiceover by Adam West, Batman in the original TV series.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Okay. Iconic art package.
Okay.
What does that even mean?
Well, it's
It's Batman. Batman is iconic.
it is iconic, but it's like the art right now that I'm seeing on the flyer is the 1960s Batman.
Yep.
Okay, so that's iconic.
There you go. I'll agree with that. And much more. Of
Much
course.
more.
You got to have much more.
Yeah.
So
Whatever.
I don't know if I can read
Nothing worth mentioning, but
the bottom part of the playfield is where
this is where you're
what the
gonna,
hell is going on?
this is where it goes off the rails.
Okay, this is like, somebody in one of the threads was like, somebody took notes in a meeting and then they put this on the flyer.
Yeah, that was the part where it got wonky. Stern's never done this before like that.
So it says jointly branded by Stern Pinball and Joe Kamikow's Kapow Pinball. Okay.
I don't know what Joe Kamik. I know
never
Joe
heard of that
Kamikow's
before.
done games before, but yeah, I don't know what that is.
So here we go. 240 limited edition machines. Dressed even more so than a normal limited edition.
Oh, that's nice. What is it?
It's gonna have some
It's got a
clothes on.
cape, yo.
Yeah, man.
For Batman, it's all dressed up.
Dressed. What does that even mean?
It's not. Somebody didn't really review this part of the flyer.
All right. There will be a premium. There will be no pro. That is the third bullet. that
Yeah,
I just read
I
that
can see why
verbatim.
you. I mean, I kind of skimmed this, but I can see why you were making comments.
I'm
about
like,
this
what
flyer.
is that? So yeah.
Maybe this is notes for the distributor.
I don't know.
I don't think maybe they were supposed to
Maybe
release
this
it.
was not supposed to be public. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so it's
ob-
not Stern.
it's-
Stern, I'm not bashing you, Stern. This is what somebody leaked and we're presented, and I'm just looking at it. So you have to talk about it, right?
Steve says all dressed like Canadian potato chips. Exactly.
All dressed.
Okay.
We're
Go.
talking about that. There won't be a pro. That's kind of a bummer.
Oh, wait, we're getting to the best part. So there is
All
no
right.
pro. Just keep that in mind
All
as we
right.
continue through the bullets.
Fine.
Customers who order with deposit gain VIP access to Adam West meet and greet at the Westin Hotel during Chicago Pinball Expo.
That's nice.
So the LE deposit is $2,000. Premium deposit is $5,000
No, that's 500.
or 500.
That's 500.
Sorry.
Yeah.
30 Super LE machines will be made, purchased by invitation only.
What the? Why even put that? If you're gonna make, what the hell does that mean?
So now we have no pro, we have a premium, an LE, and a super LE. What the hell is going on? What is going through their brains right now?
Just have an LE and a premium. I don't understand.
By invitation only, so you have to be like a pinball elite to get invited to, like, what
Not that
justifies being invited to buy a really expensive pinball
it doesn't
machine?
affect me, but like it's just invitation. It's such a weird pinball flyer. It is super weird. The notes on this game.
Yeah, and it says first shipments are planned for November 2016. So that is that is all we know at this point.
Are we going to see another game being released, or is that it? Is that the game that's coming out?
I guess that's it. And the thing is, like, they're asking for deposits before they've even shown a playfield or cabinet artwork or
Come
anything.
on, Stern.
This is amateur hour. And in the meantime, they've got all these issues going on with Ghostbusters that they won't even like address.
That's weird.
Like, people who paid out the nose for Ghostbusters LEs have playfields chipping and inserts lifting, and they haven't talked about that.
Maybe it's like this because this is Joe Kamika, who's like in charge of this, kind of, who's taking the lead on this game, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And that's why there's a different structure to it than what we normally see through Stern.
Yeah, I don't know.
Stern's making the game, and obviously it's their designers and whatnot, but I don't know, man. It's bizarre.
I don't know. So that's all we know of Batman 66 at this point. It's a little unusual. I mean, again, it's like they didn't want the game to be announced like this, I'm sure. It leaked out, so they didn't learn their lesson from Ghostbusters. They didn't even release that. It was just like behind the scenes, like pictures of schematics and early drawings of the playfield that leaked out. This they actually released, I imagine, to this distributor who then reposted it.
I just like what Life Forcer put in the chat. Order the Batman 66 salad. The LE version has more dressing. Dressing.
Dressing. What flavor dressing do you think comes
up.
with the?
It's got a little tux on it, little bow tie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if the LE is more dressed, what is the super LE?
Oh shit!
Is it naked?
Oh my! No,
or is it just got?
It's the most dressed.
It's got like the t-shirt, and then it's got a vest and a button-up shirt.
It goes more dressed and then most.
Most
they
dressed.
didn't put that. It's implied. The most is implied. It's the most dressed game. The premium is practically naked. No shame.
They don't even put artwork on the pros anymore.
The premium's not even the premium in that case. You're like a bum if you have that. You want the garbage premium, go ahead.
I want the guy that was like ridiculing everybody on Pinside for buying the pro version of Ghostbusters. I want to know his thoughts on buying the premium version of this game. Should I be ashamed if I buy a premium at this point?
You should. You're a hobo.
I am. Thanks, Stern, for making me look even worse.
All right. I love Stern so much.
We heard Stern.
But
they make awesome pinball
it's just
machines.
It's funny.
It's
funny when the announcements come out, and I love the forums. I haven't read the forum because you just sent me that flyer like an hour before the show. So
I shout out to this flipping podcast. I saw it on their Facebook page. And I shared it to Buffalo Pinball. Everybody started talking about it. And,
so the troublemaker in this is this flipping podcast.
Yes, they started all the trouble.
Gap is the one who posted it. There's the trail, Stern. You can hunt them down.
So if you're coming after us, we didn't start the fire.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All right. What are we talking about next?
Next is Pinburgh, Kevin.
Why don't you take the lead on Pinburgh?
Okay. So Pinburgh, housed in ReplayFX, is the largest pinball tournament in the entire universe. It was at the end of July. It was for 3 days. Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And it was awesome. Our winner was Keith Elwin.
Yes.
He's just destroying it.
Yeah. He continues to live up to the billing of best pinball player ever.
It's funny. I mean, I feel like everybody knows what Pinburgh is, but for the two people out there who listen to this podcast that don't, it's a match play competition. So on Thursday and Friday, you're trying to qualify, and each day you play 20 machines, and you're in groups of 4, and there's 5 rounds. What is that?
It's Ghostbusters letting us know it's 9:00.
It does that every hour?
It shows the Midnight Madness
like a
top
countdown?
score, and it brings 9 times for 9:00.
Sorry, there was chimes in the background.
It's a really expensive cuckoo clock.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so let's
Pinburgh ReplayFX.
Pinburgh. So that's the gist of it. It's the best tournament. that I play in every year. Kevin, do you feel the same way?
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it. It's like, there's so many shows happening in pinball, and you have to kind of pick and choose the ones that you go to for, not only time, but money and, effort going into going out to all these shows. This is one I would never miss.
No, never miss it. It was my sixth Pinburgh, and they just do a phenomenal job. I mean, you think about 700, and I think it was 681, but I mean 700 is the cap. There's people who get on a wait list and that don't show up, but 700 people descend on this tournament. They have hundreds of pinball machines there, and it's just run so damn well. I mean, I'm sure the staff, when you talk to them and you tell them it runs so well, they know of a problem in their mind, but it looks so flawless. I can't even imagine doing something of that caliber at that level. It's amazing that they spend all their time and energy so that people can enjoy that.
Yeah, after running the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, which was a fraction of Pinburgh with the time and effort and players that goes into Pinburgh, I was exhausted after that.
Yeah.
And it took us months to plan that. So I mean, they've done Pinburgh so many times that I'm sure it's a well-oiled machine at this point, but still just logistically pulling that off. Huge shout out to the Papa crew for all the work they do for that.
And there's other things going on because it is a festival. So there's board games, which I'm into board games. So I kind of go out into this lounge area and play that. There's a Kong off for Donkey Kong. There were bands playing there. There were arcade machines and video game consoles that you can just go in and play. There was a bounce house. There was a wrecking ball, which Kevin shamed the Bro crew by losing to Taylor from this Flippin' Podcast. Well, he deserves the shout out.
Yeah.
He did it. You threw down the challenge.
Yep. I went too hard on my toss. I threw myself off. He kind of won by default. He didn't actually knock me off. I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah. It's an asterisk.
Mixer Tuna and I played the unreleased prototype of the Super Nintendo CD system. So that was cool. Awesome. We played Street Fighter on it.
You guys are such nerds.
We're super nerds. But that was something I remember seeing as a kid, in a magazine. I was like, oh my God, somebody found one of these. So we played it. That was cool. We also played table tennis and saw a guy trying to steal soda out of the soda machine. That was quite a story. Did you know that story?
I heard about it. I heard.
He was shameless about it too. We're like, do you need help? Is because he was over there fiddling with it for 5 minutes, and he goes, no, I've been getting soda out of here all day. And now it's not going to give it to me anymore. I was like, oh,
you're supposed to be impressed.
I know. Good job, buddy.
You just try to steal soda.
Oh man. So that was Pinburgh.
How did you play? How was it?
I played. So I was restricted to B this year because of my top 4 C division finish at Papa. So no matter what I did, I was going to end up in B. And it was to kind of the way I played. I should have been at the top of C, but instead I ended up at the bottom of B, which was not a good place to be because I had a big hill a big ditch to climb out of. But because I started off on day 1 and I played crappy. I got a 2 on my first round, and then I got a 4 or something like that. But then I started playing better, and I kind of consistently improved throughout the day. But it was not enough to where I dug myself into a hole so far that I didn't get myself out of the basement in B. So overall, I'm happy. Last year, I finished in C, and actually, I made the playoffs in C, which was awesome. And this year, I only made it to B, but I didn't quite make the playoffs. But still, it was a great time. I felt like overall, I played better than I did last year, so I could see myself improving. So that's always a positive thing. It's always a benefit. I know you've said that you always want to finish a little bit better than you did the previous year so you can see some improvement. So I feel like I did that even though I was restricted to B overall. I finished mid B when all was said and done.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
You've been making a heck of a lot of progress. I mean, you've really accelerated.
Yeah, I'm almost
last year or two.
I'm like 615 or so something ranked now. So yeah, most of that was thanks to the Intergalactic Pinball Championship, which was a side tournament. It wasn't I guess you could call it a side tournament. So how it works is on day 1, it's open qualifying to everybody. You just play everybody. Day 2, you're restricted to your division based on the play from day 1. And day 3 is playoffs and finals. So if you didn't make the playoffs or finals, or you finished up in playoffs and finals, they ran a whole second tournament this year called the Intergalactic Pinball Championship. And that was a limited entry herb style format. So you got 10 entries, you play the games, and however you finished, you would advance to playoffs on Sunday. So I decided I was going to go at it early and play all 10 of my entries and get them all in and do the best I could. And was doing really all weekend. I had tended to be doing really well on the classics and the EM. So that carried over through the intergalactic tournament too. And it was enough to get me into the playoffs, and I made it up. So I played playoffs on Sunday, finished up 21st overall.
Nice.
Got $25 to the
boom
to the Pinburgh store,
Yeah.
which I got my ReplayFX.
That's cool. I was looking
poster.
at that actually.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
I got a sweet certificate that I'm going to show my mom that I made it 21st. But there was like 250 players in that side tournament, so it was worth some serious points. I think I got like 16 points or something for 21st place. So
Nice.
it's making it rain whoppers.
Cool. So MT Sides 80 said, did you ever play old pinball video games?
Yes,
You did.
I did. I remember playing like there was Pinbot on the NES, and like I always like when I would go and rent games as a kid, I would pick out the pinball games because I always liked pinball, and why not, right? So yeah, I remember playing them. They all kind of stunk back in the day because the physics were terrible. But how about you? Did you ever play any?
No, I don't think I played any video games when I was a kid. Maybe like Sonic Pinball. I can't even remember though. Like
Yeah.
pinball wasn't part of my childhood. Really, I'm like a late bloomer for pinball.
Yeah.
So I'm making up for lost time apparently.
So Steve says I got 17.64 points for 21st place in that tournament. That's crazy. So thank you, Whopper Points. So how'd you finish up in Pinburgh?
So I was restricted to B, and I started off strong. After the first maybe 3 rounds, I was someplace maybe like mid pack in A, which I was feeling good about.
Mhm.
And then I started having some rough rounds at the end. And the thing that bothered me is that I wasn't tanking because I was getting beat by better players. I was tanking because I was beating myself. I would just started playing poorly, and I just kind of lost it from there. Like the wheels came right off the bus, and like the next day, first round I got like a 3. I was just getting destroyed, and I couldn't pull myself out of the funk, and it just kind of became a miserable experience for a while. Which is funny because I was still having a blast. Like this is how good Pinburgh is, and this is what I was thinking at the time. I'm playing some of my worst pinball. I cannot pull myself out of this kind of nosedive, but I'm still having a lot of fun because the tournament is so good, and the social aspect is there. You know, you love talking to people and meeting new people. There's so much cool energy in the place. So I think I finished like, I don't know, 140 something like B, and it was kind of a bummer. It was for the first 5 years, and for Pinburgh, for me, I did better, and I've always done better. So this is the first time I've done worse, which, you know, I mean, that's still awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I got into be fair and square. I get a little bummed when I'm to blame for losing. But you know what? I gotta say, those single player EMs, I absolutely hate them. I hate them. I think at one point I turned to somebody in my group. I said, I just want to buy these so I can set it on fire. Like,
See, those are the games that did me good all weekend. So it all depends on like how you're feeling, like
it's such
play wise.
bullshit.
Like, dude, I destroyed freaking Spanish Eyes. That stupid little
you-
pop bumper.
yeah, you
I'd
got
never
lucky
played
bounces,
that before.
yeah.
No way. I was nudging it out of there. It was awesome.
Well, all right. Let
I was
me
nailing that center target.
let me refine that. I hate the games where it says tilt ends game.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That is a hatred. I don't mind older school games that much. That's fine. But when you are afraid to nudge the game, especially if you're one of the first couple players, that really sucks. That really sucks, man, because that's the only skill you can use a lot of times in that. I'm not saying that they shouldn't put it in the tournament. I mean, that's fine. It's fair and square. And probably when I was a beginning player, I really loved it because of their great equalizers.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got destroyed by them this year. And I don't know, man. Maybe I need to get one of those and just practice the crap out of it. I feel like I'm a good nudger, but I think there's a lot of fear of tilting the game and just like, you know, having like being like on your second ball and then tilting out when it's a 5-ball game because you got aggressive.
Yeah. I don't think I saw anybody tilt out of one of those games while during the tournament. So I think they tend to set up the tilt pretty liberal on those. But again, it's like you don't want to take that chance to do like a slap save or something like that, and your game would be done.
I heard somebody. I think I was listening to Coast to Coast maybe, and Nate Shivers might have been talking about like Bowen, and I might be butchering this, but he was saying like Bowen hated those games for a number of years, and then he finally had like I don't know, like a paradigm shift where you saw the beauty of them and
Mhm.
got better. I think I just need to have that happen. And because I'm not exposed to games where the till ends it, I just don't focus on it. And I don't know, man. It was a little brutal.
That's the beauty of Pinburgh, though, man. It makes you play all eras of games, and it definitely broadened my horizons when it came to like
Cool.
buying new games and checking new stuff out.
Overall, it was awesome. Got to meet a lot of people who watched the stream, which
Yes.
is super cool. Pinball Wiz 45B, it was great playing some games with you. He's in the chat now. Got a lot of good feedback on our podcast and our stream, so that's super meaningful for us, man. When people just say that they enjoy it and they get some value out of it, that kind of gives us energy to keep on doing it. So thank you guys.
Yeah, shout out to whoever saw. I saw one of the mornings I had my bro shirt on, and I went up to get coffee at the little place at the hotel, and they saw the shirt and went, "Hey, we listened to you on the way up to the show." So that stuff like that is awesome. So thanks for listening. Thanks for saying hi.
All right, let's roll on to the next subject, which was the tournament that Kevin and I were running, the Buffalo Pinball Summer Open, which was our first Papa Circuit event. Oh my God! First of all, I can breathe much easier now that that's over with. We were really, I don't want to say, I guess nervous is fair. We felt very well prepared for it, but
Yeah.
you never know what can go wrong. And we take something like that very seriously, where we hype it and we promote it and we say we can do it, and we, people are coming from all over the country. We know that they're spending a lot of money to come here. We know that they're giving up their weekend. And it's super important for us that everybody has a good time and that we deliver on a good tournament. And based on everything that Kevin and I heard from people, it was a very successful tournament.
Yeah, I remember Steve Daniels, S. Daniels in the chat was asked me after day one, like, what happened on day one that you would have changed? And I couldn't think of anything. I said maybe some more elbow room when you're playing the games. I mean, that's easy stuff. We can remedy.
Yeah, that's a
future years.
criticism. I'll take it all day. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, we did some last minute scrambling. I woke up the day of Friday, and I hadn't even really thought about the internet, like mobile connectivity, because we use all the iPads for chat. So this is just, I'll give you an example of like the mind of an organizer of one of these events. And so we had arranged for high speed internet to be there so we could stream it and everything, but I noticed when I was there trying to stream a test stream over the Wi-Fi, it kept dropping out. And I was like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then like 5 a.m. that morning, I woke up and I was like, we should bring a router and hook it up and have a good router hooked to the new high-speed internet access, get that going, and then we'll connect all the iPads to that. So I was like, that morning, I'm like messaging everybody, but who's got a router they can bring? So luckily, to our friend Jeff, who you see on the stream here, he's an IT professional networking guy. He's like, got a brand new router, brought it out, hooked it up. He was all dressed up like he was going to work. Made a stop out, hooked us up.
It's adorable.
Ran solid all weekend. So it's little things like that it's like you scramble, everybody pulls together, and you make it happen. And then DevCon W throws up like 200 million on WrestleMania during qualifying.
He got what during qualifying?
Like 200 million.
He did?
Yeah,
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, it Kevin and I were spearheading it, but it takes a village, man, to make it come together. Bruce and Nightingale brought some games out. Martha Donovan helped to get the food trucks that were there.
Oh yeah,
They
were
folks from Papa coming up, Doug Polka and Fred Cochran coming up. Keeping score, helping out with some rulings where necessary, and just kind of providing, we'll call it spiritual advice.
And they brought the tablets we used for scorekeeping.
They brought the tablets, which was a godsend. I mean, we could have scrambled some together. We had some, but I mean, it helps just having those in that system.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many people, all the volunteers that we had. Carl D'Angelo, who we use his software, the Never Drain software, which is the backbone of the entire event.
Yes.
I've said this. They used to do this by pen and paper only like 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
I remember going to Papa events where they would write down your scores on paper and then run them up to the front desk and somebody would punch in with a computer, which is just mind-blowing. Like nowadays, at our tournament, we had no lines for games.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a pump and dump style, and you queued up online. So you would pull up your smartphone and just put yourself in like a game, like put yourself in line for like Avatar, but then you can go out, you can go to the bar, get a beer. You can play some of the other like 30 games that are like on, in the arcade for practice or whatever. You can play pool, talk to your friends, whatever. Like it's so much better than the days of waiting in line. I think that went a long way to making it a good tournament.
Yeah, we also had the queues up on TV. So Pocketeer is awesome because they let us overtake some of their TVs and use them for the tournament. So one side of the room we had the queues up for the Classics tournament. The other side we had the queues up for the main tournament, and we also had a third TV with overall standings on it. So I think all that worked out really well. The Classics tournaments people were like really cranking on the Classics throughout the day. So I know you and I did a bunch of scorekeeping over there, and it was like you had to keep them moving.
We did the format basically. We mimicked Papa in a sense that there was a Classics tournament on Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then a Classics tournament on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So there's 2 Classics tournaments, and then there was the main tournament. So there was actually a lot of Magic Pinball points or Whopper points to be had. I forgot. Do you know what Trent got for winning the main tournament?
I don't remember, but I bet Steve Daniels can
Steve Daniels will get in the chat. That we'll give an update.
Yeah.
And then the Classics tournament, there was at least 40 points for like first place or something like that. It was rich in points. We had, I think, 100 players. I don't know what the official number was. Maybe in the main tournaments there was like 98 players or something like that who played, but we had over 100 people register for the tournament.
Yeah.
When all was said and done, so it was great. I'm super excited. I'm just it's really nice, and it's really good to be sitting here and putting on our first tournament. Kevin and I didn't play at all in it.
Nope.
Because and here's the thing, to pass on some advice: if you want to do a big tournament, you absolutely should not play in it. You just shouldn't, because listen, you've got only so much focus and time, and you need to give it 100% focus, because if you try to compete, then your focus on the tournament might drop down to 80%, and problems are going to happen.
Yeah. We honestly, we were like halfway through the first day, and I finally had a minute to talk to Nick, and I said, I wouldn't even have had time to play in the tournament. We were just so busy doing scorekeeping and, taking money for entries. And
we were each there for 41 hours. I computed it for those days. So that was
we
more
put
than I
in
worked my
some
job there.
serious time over those 3 days. So, and then we also streamed 17 hours worth of tournament coverage, which we got great feedback on. People were saying it's the most coverage they've ever seen of a Papa Circuit event like that. So, and I think people really enjoy seeing the qualifying. It gives us a chance to see other players. It's awesome seeing the top players play, because they do things that are amazing. But this gives everybody a chance to kind of be in the spotlight a little bit. We got to see some amazing gameplay from Jay Fairbrother on World Cup Soccer. Yeah. So go back to our Twitch highlights and check that out if you need a little pick me up during your day.
It needs to be on the YouTube. You gotta get Jay's
I'll put it on
the YouTube channel.
too.
All right, so Steve updated. So Trent Augustine, who was the winner of the Buffalo Summer Open Papa Circuit event, got 57.92 Whopper points, and then the winners in Classics got 45 and 37. So Jeff Teolis, if I'm saying his name correctly, was one of our winners. And then who won the other Classics?
Wait, it's on my poster.
You think I would have had I have this in front of me. Kevin's running.
Well, that's Jeff. So John Flinton?
I don't know.
I can't read the signature.
I guess.
I think I have
John Flynn sounds right.
Yeah, I know he was in the playoffs, so I bet it was him.
It's all a blur. When I look back on the, it was a blur. And also thanks to Steve Daniels for jumping in the broadcast booth, and Joe Said.
Yeah,
whenever I start thinking people, I know I'm going to forget some folks, but
everybody, we love you all.
All right, so I think that's it. We'd love to do it again. The way it works is that the Papa folks send out a survey to your email. So if you attended, feedback to us was great, all the compliments and the thanks. But if you want to see it happen again in Buffalo, then just take a moment to answer that survey and be honest. There's a place for comments. We get to see some of that feedback. So, if we do get to do it again, which Kevin and I are certainly down for, but it's up to the Papa folks, we'll incorporate as much feedback as possible.
Yep. So we have confirmation it was John Flinton that won.
Thank you.
Also,
John Flinton won.
Of course, shout out to Brucey, who was a big part of helping out during the tournament.
Oh yeah, he was running the finals,
yeah,
in the playoffs. That
doing a lot of scorekeeping.
Super helpful. And he's good at it. That's his cup of tea. I know, Bruce, you love it. So it's good that you did that. Had in the right hands.
Awesome.
All right. So my God, this has been so busy. We don't podcast for a month, and there's like so much happens. It's exhausting talking about it.
We haven't had a chance to talk about it, so we're talking about all of it.
Let's pick up the pace here. I say that. All right, Domino's. We went to Domino's.
We did
a little over a week ago.
The World Resource Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we streamed their brand new pinball machine by Spooky Pinball. It's called Domino's Spectacular Pinball Adventure. You probably saw, if you've seen previous episodes of the talk show or listened to them, we had Adam Gasick from Domino's on. He's the man behind the machine. It was his concept, his idea. He designed the rules. He did a napkin sketch of all the layout of the play field. So without Adam, there's no game. So it was awesome for him to reach out and invite us out to play. The game was really cool. The artwork was awesome. We got to make pizzas with their corporate trainer, and we also got, so when we revealed the playfield artwork on the stream, Nick had quite a reaction to the beefed up guy in the middle of the playfield, and so we actually had that's actually modeled after a real guy, and it was Adam's boss, and he was there, so he kind of modeled the dude holding up the pizzas for us. It was pretty great. Overall,
you can see that in the video too.
Yeah.
Just go watch the pizza making video. Right in the beginning, you can see the guy who's on the playfield.
It's great. I don't know, man. That was like a super blur. So we got there. Shout out to Martha for driving. So I had driven to Pinburgh and to Jersey Jack. So I was like, I would really like to not drive. So she decided to drive for us. Thank you. So we got there. I said, drop me off at the headquarters. I'll start setting stuff up. Tuna was already there. He had been kind of scouting out locations. And I knew going in that there was a switch that needed to be adjusted on the kickout on the right. I think it's the pizza oven kickout. So we got there, lifted the playfield up. I looked at it, and it looked like the switch was broken. Like, because normally at the bottom of a drop target or something, there's a switch with like a little hook on it. And this was just like, it went up and then it was like sheared off. It looked like it would have been cut off. So I was like, crap, that looks like it's broken. And Adam says, well, I have an America's Most Haunted at my house. We can go and grab the switch off of that and bring it in here. So we went to Adam's house. I desoldered the switch from his America's Most Haunted, brought it over to Domino's headquarters. He thankfully only lived like 5-10 minutes away, and put it in the machine. Actually, I didn't end up putting that one in the machine. I ended up just adjusting the one that was in there, because once we had the other switch, they looked pretty much exactly the same. So I guess that's just how Spooky does their switches. So we were able to adjust it and get it working. It did get stuck like once or twice during the stream, but overall it played really well. So we had our battle. I'm proud to say we went 5-0 against Adam. Buffalo represented. And we had some awesome pizza.
Adam's a noob.
Yeah, he's total noob. He got wrecked. He was talking trash on Facebook the night before too.
Oh,
so
man. That's what you get.
That's what
you
you
didn't
get
learn from Jay Fairbrother. Jay
Okay.
Fairbrother talked trash the day before he played and during the stream, and then he got destroyed.
Don't mess with the bro
But
crew.
the cool thing, Adam, is you get to come out and be on the Own 4 Club show. So
That's right.
You get an invite.
He gets to be on the Own 5 Club. Oh.
It's
We love
fun.
you, Adam.
It's fun talking a little trash.
So what were your impressions of the game?
I like the game, actually. I was surprised how good the shots felt, and it's got some flow to it. I guess it's Spooky's game with the most flow. I would say, I've spent some time on America's Most Haunted. It's been a little while since I played it, but I would say it felt better than America's Most Haunted in the way it shot, and it certainly felt a heck of a lot better than Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie, I just can't. Again, I've only played that game a few games, but I'm thinking back to Rob Zombie, and there's not a single shot where I'm like, that shot feels good, right? You hit that shot, it's just it makes sense. Whereas on the Domino's machine, you hit a shot, and I was like, oh man, I like this shot. It feels good. It feels natural. There's a satisfying feeling that you get when you hit it, and there's a bunch of those on that machine. So it shoots well, man.
Yeah.
It shoots well. The code isn't there. It's kind of bare bones. The scoring's kind of whack because you would get like 1 million points for a skill shot, but just throw that out the window when you watch that, because they're not done with the game. That's just the bare bones stuff.
That's the easy stuff to fix.
Yeah.
If the playfield shoots fine, and I like that there's some cool creative things going on, like that right ramp that drops it into the scoop.
Yeah.
I've never been done for before that I've seen.
Yeah, it's unique.
And it rings like a pizza bell, or like the oven's done and the pizza's ready and comes shooting right back out at you. It's cool. And even the skill shot is like super challenging. So there's a lot of skill shots where you don't need a whole lot of skill to actually pull them off. This one you definitely do. You can cheat it a little bit. If you soft plunge, you get it on a flipper, you can shoot it into the scoop and get the skill shot, but that's not easy for sure. You see us trying that a whole bunch. But overall, like, the game is beautiful. I think Scott Gullix, yes, I remembered his name, is the artist. He did a great job on the art. I think in person it looks even better than it looks in pictures. The playfield's got cool hand-drawn art. The outside of the cabinet has more of like a design style to it, but it looks like the corrugated cardboard from like a pizza box. It's really cool.
The alt translate, by the way, really ties the game together.
It does.
I mean, it's so worth having that on. It's really cool. It screams pinball on it because there's the action. There's like the Noid. He's like kind of like a Godzilla-esque figure, just kind of attacking a city, and they're fighting him,
shooting at the Noid. It's great.
It's cool. You know, when you hear about Domino's machine when it first was released, you're like, okay, that's cool. You know, they're making a pinball machine. They'll put it in stores. But when I was there looking at and playing, I was like, huh, I might have to get a Domino's machine. I mean, that it's to the point where look at it, and I would never think I would say that, but I was seriously considering buying it. At this point, I'm just going to move around stuff in my collection, but I think people should check it out.
Yeah.
And they're only going to make a limited number of them, so the game's probably going to hold its value. It's going to be on sale up until maybe the end of the year, and then no more orders. So if you're on the fence, I don't think it's too crazy to consider getting that game. Like I said, with limited numbers of them, a game that shoots well, as long as they get that code and the rules where it needs to be, and they kind of have a commitment to doing that, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good pinball game.
They need to really just get our voices in there is what they need to do. Because Nick and I recorded call-outs for the game. So.
I bet everybody doesn't feel that way.
I bet nobody cares except for us.
No.
But that's all right. A couple of comments in the chat from the stream. Steve Daniel says spinner on the ramp return was cool. I've never seen that before.
It's a real backlash.
A spinner on the ramp, yeah. And Defcon W says it's a real backlash, yeah. So I don't know if the standard is a translate, and then the Noid is definitely a backlash.
What is it? The game's like $5,200, but
$52.99, I believe.
$500 goes to their foundation. So it's a tax write-off too. It's pretty good, man. I was impressed. I had fun playing it. Even when we were done with the stream, we were still playing it.
Yep, kept it going.
So, honest to God, I think you guys will have fun. I hope everyone gets a chance to play it. And for people who are thinking about getting it or who have pre-ordered it, you're going to be happy.
For sure. And I think overall, the whole experience of like being at the Domino's headquarters, we had that giant like domino behind us. We went to that crazy kitchen and made pizzas, and then Adam gave us a tour of the building. There was the car that keeps your pizzas warm, and we saw the original delivery car from Domino's. It was like just such a cool place to be, and like who would have thought we'd be there streaming pinball? But it was a great experience, and thank you to Adam again.
Cool. Is it review time?
I think it is review time.
Let's have a refresher on what our ratings mean. Can you bring that up?
I can. And you know what? I figured out is if go to the website here, and I'm locked it down so I can't move the stupid website around anymore. So there we go.
Brilliant.
Little by little. So
here is how we rate a game. So we do the 10-point rating system, 0 to 10. A score of 0 to 2 is burn it. Yeah, just light that on fire.
All those EMs from
all those
Pinburgh.
tilt, burn them all. Especially Slick Chick. That one, if you want to hit it a couple times, like with a sledgehammer, then burn it.
That's a 0
and then
to 2.
put it out and then like burn it again, so you get a value. That's what it is. 3 to 5 is an expensive nightlight. 6 to 10 is a solid game.
6 to 8.
6 to 8 is a solid game. You get one, yeah, not bad. And then 9 to 10 is in our opinions, absolutely buy the game.
Start throwing your money at it. So, what game are we talking about?
Talking about what's considered, at least ratings wise, on Pinside, and a lot of people probably feel this way, Medieval Madness.
Number 1 rated game on all. As long as I've been going to Pinside, this has always been at the top of the list.
Spoiler alert! I think that game is very overrated.
Oh, you're supposed to wait till the end.
Let the trouble. No, I want to cause some trouble now.
Oh,
we'll
man.
see. We'll break it down.
All right.
You didn't give away.
I didn't.
I can't shut my mouth sometimes.
So Medieval Madness. I don't have the dates. It was the late 90s.
I think it's 97, 98. This is how much we researched. Sorry, guys. Got a lot going on.
Who hasn't played Medieval Madness? I'm sure there's some people that haven't. But, it's whenever you talk about Medieval Madness, everybody says Tina Fey did voice work in the game, right?
We'll get there. Can we get there?
Yeah, but you got to throw that out there because that's
Don't forget it.
Don't forget Tina Fey.
Yeah, they do, and that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's cool.
Let's start with the art.
Yeah, let's do it.
You kick it off.
So, all right, let's look at some art for those who are watching along with us.
In case you don't know what Medieval Madness looks
Right.
like.
So, Medieval Madness, cool hand drawn art. It's got trolls and knights and castles and dragons and all sorts of stuff. So, overall, I think the art is really well done. I've never heard a complaint about the artwork on Medieval Madness. I'm a fan of it. I don't know what else there is to say. I like it. It's well integrated. Theme is good. And it all fits.
I think the art's perfect. That back glass is awesome. There's so much fun things happening on it. Like you can just like spend a decent amount of time staring at it, and you'll discover something new. It's got to be one of my favorite back glasses in pinball. It just really represents kind of the presentation and the fun of the game. Playfield artwork, again, solid, matches everything. It indicates what you need to do, which is important in a pinball machine. Great. I can't imagine it being any better.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty straightforward. Artwork is good.
Artwork's good. We're off to a good start.
All right. Good job,
All right.
Medieval Madness.
How could we go wrong? Okay. Sound,
again, very cool. It's got I would say it's got a very Monty Python-esque feel to it. So like the Frenchman in the game sounds like the Frenchman in the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the guy that taunts everybody. So you can tell they pulled some of that humor, and I've heard actually people refer to this as the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, like in pinball form. This is it. So, and the audio, the voice call outs are really well done. The music is good. I think it's a home run in the sound department too.
yeah. I mean, the sound for me is like a 10 out of 10. Music's good. I like the hurry up, music's good. It kind of, stresses the urgency. It's funny,
Yep.
all the call outs. The game is just all about humor. Call outs are funny. They'll make you laugh. I love like the jackpot call outs. I love how when you get all the like catapult, peasants, joust, trolls, and damsel, how it like really broadcasts like multi-ball madness. Like that is cool. That is fun. It's such a good presentation of that game.
Yeah, I mean, it's so good. We use it for our subscriber notification.
Totally.
I'm just saying.
In our intro,
If you wanted to hear
double
it,
super jackpot.
yeah. It's Newish Star made a song about the game basically. So you know the call outs are good when people are pulling it into songs. So good job.
All right, so we're doing great so far. This is why people love this game.
Right.
I mean, we're like at 10 out of 10 on all these things
Yep.
right now. Toys in the game.
We can look at some toys. This game has fantastic toys.
Yep.
Some of the best, I think, in pinball. So let's get to the playfield pictures here. So you got this castle. This castle is awesome. I remember the first time I ever played this was when Jamie Brundage in Buffalo Pinball League had 2 of these at one point. This was before Medieval Madness Remake was announced. He had grabbed them, and then I don't know, he had them in his basement, and we went over there for, was it League, or we just went over there for
He just
a
had
hangout
he was
thing?
having us over
Yeah.
for fun.
And there was 2 Medieval Madnesses, and I remember playing this and thinking the castle was so awesome, and then you destroy the castle and the pillars fall down on it, and then they stand back up, and just like it just blew me away. So that's the main toy in the game. The right ramp, you got this dragon over the ramp, and it goes into the you rescue the damsel from the tower. That's cool too. On the left, you've got the catapult that fires it around, which is basically just a wire form that shoots it up backwards. But the castle, how can you go wrong with that? The other things you can see are the trolls. Trolls pop up out of the playfield. Was this the first time this had been done?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know of any that had done this before. You've seen it a few times afterwards on X-Men and The Hobbit. But the trolls are really cool. They pop up and they talk trash, and you gotta smack them in the face. Awesome. Again, very cool.
Yeah, it's a kind of cool surprise too. If this is like your first time playing it, and then suddenly the trolls pop up, and it's like, whoa, what's going on there?
Yeah, and the awesome calls, it's like trolls, and they pop up, and they're like, oh.
Again, it's all about the presentation of the game that really draws you into it.
Yes, so great.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, the toys are amazing. This is one of the games that really pulled me into pinball when I was playing digital pinball. Before I even owned a machine back in like fall 2010. I remember I had the Williams Pinball Hall of Fame collection, and I would play Medieval Madness on there. It's like, oh my god, this game is amazing. Like it is. I'm just telling everybody, you've got to play this Medieval Madness game. It's so intuitive for new players what to do because you have the toy of the castle and you hit it and it destroys it. Like pinball is confusing for people, but you do that and you can see your progress and it's giving you the player good feedback. So it draws people and it's engaging. It's very friendly to new players in that sense. Just outstanding. I mean, I just remember seeking this game out and was so excited to play it for like the first time in person.
Yeah, great game.
DMD and lighting.
Why don't you take the lead on this?
Yeah.
I always screw this one up.
Again, I keep on saying this word presentation, but it incorporates everything well. The DMD's fun with the animations and it gets the job done. It doesn't stick out in my mind as like anything crazy special DMD wise. It's good. It's right along, Williams of that era. And then the lighting's great too when you get jackpots. And I don't know. It's good. It's good for that era of what you're seeing.
What's cool about the display is if you've seen, so there, we mentioned this like earlier on in the podcast, but they are remaking this game right now. So you can buy brand new Medieval Madness. They're calling it Medieval Madness Remake or MMR. Sometimes you'll hear it referred to. And that comes with a color display out of the box. But what's cool is you can buy an upgrade for the display where they like redrew all of the DMD animation artwork into more of like a 16-bit kind of feel. And everything I've seen of that looks just amazing. Like they did a killer job on that. So for that has some of the best DMD or display animations that I've seen in a pinball machine.
And, Kevin and I are talking about the remake and the original Medieval Madness when we're doing this review because at least I can't tell a difference when I play them. They both feel exactly the same to me. They did a great job on the remake, by the way.
Yeah. So me, etc. wants to know what the differences are between MM and MMR, so Medieval Madness and Medieval Madness Remake. Main differences are under the hood, really. I mean, there's new driver boards that control the game. It's got LEDs on circuit boards, kind of like the new Sterns. It's got that modular kind of board set to it. But from the outside, I mean, from a visual standpoint, on the outside, there's no Williams logo on it. There's a little extra like text on the back glass for like licensing or something like that. But other than that, they play,
plays the same.
The same, yeah.
It plays the same. It totally does, it's a testament to the good job that they did with this.
Yeah.
For the remake. Gameplay.
Gameplay's great.
Just move on.
Next.
Gameplay is great. I'm gonna tie the rules and gameplay together, and this is where the criticism. Actually, the last three on my list to talk about is gameplay, rules, and lastability. So I'm gonna do this all at once.
Let's smash them all together.
It's got, in many ways, it's got great rules. Lyman did the rules. There's stacking. There's like instances where you sort of don't want to start a multi-ball until you bring some other multi-balls in with it. Or sometimes you want to start a multi-ball early. I mean, there's some strategy. Do I go for the castle? Do I try to do like the ramps and stuff? Do I try to do the other multi-ball, which is the castle lock? So there's definitely options for the player on how they approach the game, which is really cool. It's got depth to it. It's got a video mode that's deeper in the game that a lot of times you won't see.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the time, which is the late 90s, this game has the most going on for it in terms of depth. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's arguments to be made for other games, but there's a lot of stuff in it, which is really good. My biggest problem with the game, though, why I knock it and say it's overrated, and this is saying a lot because look, this game's almost 20 years old now. Okay,
mm-hmm.
There have been. It deserves a ton of praise, and it was amazing for its time. But there's been a lot of games that have come out in 20 years, okay? And a lot of the people who made that game are still designing pinball, all right? But Lyman's still making games and rules, and Lyman has grown as someone who's programming a machine. The big problem with Medieval Madness for me is that the castle gets very boring, hitting it over and over and over again. I should have figured out how many shots, and maybe somebody knows this in the chat, to kind of complete the castles, but there's a lot of these shots up the middle that become very repetitious. And one way to play the game, which is a legitimate way, and at some point you kind of got to do it, is to just kind of shoot the castle. Okay, it's going to go into like the moat, and then it's going to kick it out on the left, and you catch it, and then you shoot the castle again, and it's going to kick it on the left, and you catch it, and you're gonna shoot the castle again. So you guys get the point on that where it gets a little boring and repetitious, where you're just like yawning. I was playing this game yesterday on location. By the third game, I blew it up and got 124 million, but I didn't even want to play again. I was just like, I just want to put a high score up, but I was getting really bored of doing that. There's other things in the game to do, of course. You got to hit the ramps and the outside shots and the catapult and all that. That's a fundamental part of the game. You can, try attacking the castle when multi-ball's going on. That's important too, because the castle can provide a difficult shot when the gate is down and it comes back at you. But I think that when you look at this game, you compare it with Attack from Mars, which is pretty much the same. It's by the same designers, pretty much the same layout. Attack from Mars is more interesting to me because of when you don't just shoot the center all the time, or it comes back at you more. So the ball's kind of wild and the ball's in play more. There's a little bit more of a threat to that, and the game times are a little shorter because of that.
Yeah, I get that. I'm 100% with you on that, like the attack the castle thing, because I think that comes into play much more when you're playing competitively, and that's what we do a lot. So if you want to play competitively and you want a safe shot to get a bunch of points, you go after the castle, as long as it's feeding back nicely. And when you play it that way, it definitely gets boring. But I think there's so many different ways you can kind of attack the game, that you can approach it in a number of different ways. You can even go for the multi-balls. You can try to stack all the multi-balls. You can try to defeat the castles. Things like that.
But you have to go for the castle. I mean, to play the game, you have to go for the castle. So you've got to make those many castle shots. There's nothing you can do that lowers the amount of shots that you got to hit up to the castle.
Yeah, but you could go for other multi-balls. You don't have to go for castle all the time. You could go for the one where you lock it through the castle.
But to make progress through the game, though, I'm saying to progress to the objectives. Yeah, the game wants you to hit the castle.
Yeah.
Like, if you just want to do a multi-ball all day and not play to like a wizard mode or the end of the game, I mean, yeah, there's nothing stopping you. In any game, you can just hit one shot repeatedly, but you're not going to make progress to do the objectives to the wizard mode. That's just my interjection there.
Gotcha. Yeah. And it can be tough. And it comes down to like how you set up your games too. So I've seen Medieval Madness set up differently, where it'll punish you a little bit more for going for the castle, especially in competitive play. So,
like at Pinburgh,
yeah.
Did you play it in Pinburgh?
No, I didn't. But
oh my god, dude, you hit the castle in Pinburgh, and the feed from the left would shoot it straight down the middle every time. So the one guy in my group, I think he's the sound designer for Dutch Pinball, he somebody told him about this, or he watched some of us, so he was like shaking it every time, like it was there, like just enough so he would maybe like hit it off the tip of his flipper.
So there's some ways you can adjust for that.
But then that's not, yeah.
But then it's not fun, and you're not going to set your game up like that.
You're right.
And if you do, you're a masochist. So yeah, there's a lot to do in the game, but yeah, you're right. To progress through the game, there's basically one way to attack it all the time. But I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, because like Tron, you kind of attack it all the same way all the time, but it's still a really fun game. So I don't know. That's not necessarily a huge demerit in my mind. The thing where it becomes an issue on Medieval Madness is because it's like you're doing the same shot over and over and over. Whereas like on Tron, it's like maybe you start with core, but then you have to do all this other stuff to get to the end of the game. So
okay,
that's just to draw it together.
Okay, cool. So are you ready to give it a rating? Why don't you go? Oh, less stability. Less stability is important when we're talking about collectors and pinball machines, or even on location in a game. Are you going to want to play that game a year from now if you put some time on it?
Yeah.
I think that is a problem for me. It gets a little boring. I don't know. I'm surprised. 5 years ago, that was like my favorite game. That was an awesome game. It was an amazing game. But as I've grown as a player, and as I've been exposed to more games, and a lot of the recent games that are coming out now are really good rule wise and what it has you doing, and I enjoy like a shorter playing game. I don't think it would last in my collection, other than like as a trophy saying I have Medieval Madness. If I could, even if I can have it, it's beyond my budget and price point really. But I don't. If I did have it, I don't see it lasting.
That's the thing. Like, for the price this game commands, you could pick up a great Stern Pro that has arguably deeper rules, like a Metallica or something like that, and get as much, or if not more, enjoyment out of it. So again, it's definitely a trophy piece. Some people, it's their holy grail for good reason. It's fun, it's funny. The call outs are good, the artwork's great. Rules may be a little lacking, but to me it's like where's is the value there for the price of commands, and I think it's a little overpriced at this point still.
I mean, how could you not talk about Medieval Madness and talk about pricing? And I think in our reviews, I don't try to let price influence that so much, but it's an expensive game.
Yeah, I mean, when they announced the remake, that definitely put a cap on the prices a little bit because it was going for over 10 grand for a while there.
That was obscene.
Yeah,
like ones that were just beat up.
Yeah,
we're going for obscene prices, and now you can get one for like what, $8,000,
right?
But you can also get a brand new Hobbit or Wizard of Oz for that price.
Right. Which has ridiculous amounts of stuff going on.
Yeah, I know it's just so much more, and then it becomes a little difficult. But listen, for when it came out, 20-year-old game, I'm not attacking it. I just think that it's tough for any pinball machine to sit at the number one spot, and I think that when we're talking about this in the review, I think that's a little overrated for what it is. I don't know. So.
Bruce says you can get 8 Baileys for that price.
You can.
See,
get
there you go.
So what would you give it, Kevin?
So even despite the rules, being a little one-dimensional, I think there's just so much great going on in this game that it is number one for a reason. It's fun. Like I said, it's fun. It's funny. Its callouts are great. Artwork is good. I think it's a 9 all day. I think it's even though the rules may be competitive, may be a little one-dimensional, and it's a little overpriced, I would absolutely have that game in my collection if I could. So
I'm kind of my mind going from an 8 to 8.5, but I'm only gonna give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because the presentation is so damn good in that game. What it is, the creativity behind it, the game and the gameplay. It's not the most fun game for me necessarily, but the way it presents itself is fun. I mean, it's a good embodiment of a fun pinball machine. I've enjoyed it for a heck of a number of years. I think I'm just at the point where there's a lot of other pinball machines out there. I've grown as a player. I don't even think it's in the top 20. If I had to come up with a top 20 of games that are fun, like the games that are most fun for me playing, I don't think it makes that list. But overall, with everything we talked about, it's an 8.5. It's definitely not a must own for me at all. So
seems fair.
That's fair. I mean, even for coming down on it, I think most people. I didn't give it like a 5 or something like that. I'm not lost my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think comparing the two, and maybe we'll review Attack from Mars at some point. Of the two, I definitely prefer Attack from Mars.
I think I would go for Attack from Mars. I think I would put that at a 9 if I had to.
Yeah, I would probably go 9.5.
Just because it's
not to spoil it if we review it in the future, but.
We'll see. I changed my mind.
That's right.
We'll see. We'll stick around to it. We got a lot of games to talk about. So I think
let's give before we say goodbye, let's give a plug to. We're going to be heading to the Jersey Shore Pinball and Game Room show at Jersey Jack Pinball Factory. So it's an open house for Jersey Jack, and it's also there's also a pinball tournament, and he also has a game room show, so you can bring games and buy and sell and trade.
Oh my God. You know what's going to happen, Kev? There's going to be one of the games that I want.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't have room in the car for it.
Right.
Because we're hauling back a Hobbit.
Yeah, baby.
What?
So expect lots more Hobbit on the Twitch stream. The what? Yeah. It's exciting.
I do that ironically.
Yeah.
Like trust me, I don't think I'm not.
It's kind of like bro.
Not cool at all. Yeah.
So come out, hang out with us, hang out with Jersey Jack and all the crew. I know they've had like some of the designers and programmers from their games at past events. So come and join us. It's Saturday, September 17th, 2016 from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
And it's free, right?
It is free.
Games on free play. So you can just walk in there and play games for free. That's amazing.
There's free pizza.
What?
Food and fun. IFPA pinball tournament. Outdoor pinball market. A swap meet. Games on free play.
I only eat Domino's.
We'll bring our own.
Okay.
Email Jen at jerseyjackpinball.com if you'd like to bring games. So we're going to be running an IFPA tournament there and streaming it. Hopefully we can get enough cameras to stream both Hobbit and Waz.
How much is a U-Haul trailer if somebody has a game I want?
Huh. I don't know. We can look into that.
We'll look into that.
I don't think my car can handle all that.
That's a lot of pinball, man. Oh my God.
My car would fall apart, I think.
Damn. Okay.
It's going to be fun. So definitely come out and join us. If you can't, tune into Buffalo Pinball on Twitch, and we'll be streaming the tournament.
And so Pocketeer has upgraded internet for another couple of days. I'm gonna head down there on location tomorrow, and I'm gonna stream Mustang and Kiss. At least that's the plan, as long as their internet doesn't die. So if you guys want to watch some gameplay tomorrow, I don't know what time I'm gonna go live because I got some stuff going on before then. But at some point, hopefully, we'll be streaming those 2 games.
So we should also give a plug for our new season of Brody Even Pinball. So we kind of took the summer. Well, we planned to take the summer off, and we ended up doing a bunch of other stuff, like all these cool special events like the Jersey Jack and Domino stuff. But we're kicking back into full gear with our regular schedule starting this Thursday. Twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball. Hit that follow button. Hit the subscribe button if you really love us. And we're going to be doing new episodes of Brody Even Pinball every Thursday at 8 o'clock. If you've never seen the show, we pick a different game every week with a different opponent every week. We challenge that player to battle the Bro Crew 4 games head to head. We also give a tutorial on the game, so you learn how to play the games. From a basic strategy standpoint, what are some of the good things to do in a tournament? What do you need to do if you wanted to go through the whole game? And then we just hang out and play for fun after that. So that's Thursday nights. That's our main show. Saturday nights we have Mixer Tuna. He's joined the streamer team over here on Buffalo Pinball. He's Saturday nights streaming from his collection down in Virginia Beach, Virginia. And then Monday nights we're back at my house for gameplay, usually with me and Jeff or me and Rob on something from my collection. And then Tuesday nights at Nick's house. So tune in. If I know we get a lot of listeners on to the podcast version of this who maybe don't necessarily watch us on Twitch. So do us a favor, if you walk away, here's your call to action. Go and follow us on Twitch. You'll like what you see.
And also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, where we put a lot of the Prime content from our Twitch streams, and the video version of this podcast is archived there as well. And you can also see what's going on in the chat and how people feel about certain topics that we talk about. So if you ever get a chance to catch if you just listen to in your maybe your car, if you ever get a chance to watch our podcast live, it's your chance to hop into the chat room and ask us some questions. We try to do our best to at least pay attention to the chat, even though we can't address everyone without, breaking down some of the flow to the podcast. So we're trying to please both audiences. And if you really like what we're doing and you're finding value from this, then please consider subscribing to our channel. It's only $5 a month, and it helps support us. You can also donate. If you can find that information if you go to our Twitch channel as well, and how to do all that.
Yes, we do have a Buffalo Pinball Discord. I am terrible at keeping up with it, but if you want to jump in there and chat, we can talk a little streaming and pinball action in there.
Cool. Is that the conclusion?
I think that's it. Check us out. BuffaloPinball.com. You can email us at talkpinball@gmail.com. We're happy to read your feedback on the show. If you got questions, we'll answer them on air. We've done that in the past. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. It's all Buffalo Pinball. Check us out. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back Thursday with Brody and Pinball.
Awesome.